A lucky dip is a game where you reach into a bag without looking and get a prize that could be good or could be bad. That's kind of how our year went.
I lost my way.
We started off with what we thought would be a normal year in our home in Melbourne, Australia.
I went to a conference in Brisbane on my own where I spent the weekend speaking in Esperanto. Yes, mi parolas Esperanton. In February, I went for a quick trip to New Zealand and met up with an old friend.
Later that month, we went to our favourite weekend getaway in Victoria, Fish Creek.
In March, I showed my mum and aunt around Sydney and Melbourne.
In April, we embarked on an adventure that turned out to be quite a bit bigger than we'd expected.
We went to Singapore to see my brother and his family,
Ate bratwurst in Frankfurt,
wandered around Chateau Versailles in Paris,
celebrated the King's birthday in Utrecht,
went to a cheese farm in Gouda,
smelled the flowers at Kokenhof,
met up with long-lost family in Didam,
got a beer tasting in Brussels.
Before we went back home to Melbourne.
Then we decided we wanted to change our lives.
We packed up our lives, rented out our house, sold our car, quit our jobs, and moved across the world to start new lives in the Netherlands. Only 2 months after we got back from our first trip to Europe together.
We walked on the rooftops of the Duomo in Milan,
Explored the casemates of Luxembourg,
marvelled at the beauty of Lake Lucerne,
got acquainted with our new hometown of Maastricht, where I also got my Dutch citizenship,
tried eel in Volendam,
ate street food in an abandoned paper factory in Copenhagen,
sampled the very best of Czech cuisine in Prague.
and fell in love with the most beautiful country we've ever seen.
If you're keeping track, that's 13 countries and a cross-continental move in 1 year.
But that's just the beginning. This year, I have a new job that's location independent, which means we're going to be traveling more than ever.
But we want to travel slowly. It's not about how many countries we can get to. It's about how long we're there and how deeply we engage. We want to live like locals, eat like the locals, learn the language and immerse ourselves in other cultures.
We want to document our travels and learn to tell the stories we've heard. And we want you to come along for the ride. We want to show you some of our favorite places in the world so that maybe you'll consider traveling to these places too.
As to where we go next, a lucky dip will decide that.
Here's to our best year ever. Happy lucky dipping!